Hey guys, it's Shredder here with Exus, bringing you another Black Clover mobile video. Today we're going to be doing a beginner guide for you guys that are just getting into the game with this Canada soft launch, and for all those that are coming into the global launch, which is hopefully, fingers crossed, going to be soon. If you enjoy the content today, drop a comment, like, subscribe, join us on our community Discord, and yeah, keep a look on our channel for some more Black Clover mobile videos. We're going to keep dropping them now and into the global launch, which again, hopefully will be soon. So without further ado, let's get started. So I guess the first place to start, on any gacha game, you're going to be going straight to your story, right? Quick disclaimer, I suppose the reroll on this game is probably going to take you about 20 minutes or so. We'll talk about later which units are going to be good to aim for, but that aside, once you've moved into the story, let's take a look at it. Now, this game functions a little bit differently to most in the way that it does the stamina. So there is in Black Clover Mobile separate stamina for resource mission farming, you know, like your gear dungeon, your EXP dungeon, etc., or your upgrade material dungeon, and your story mode. They have separate stamina counters. So you will find that you're going to get stuck eventually. You're going to run out of these story mode stamina, and you know you can purchase it for your crystals, but I would definitely suggest against this. It is really expensive just to buy a single, you know, story mode ticket. In terms of completion time for the story, if you're actively playing the game as a free-to-play, you will get the story done in under a week. So there's not really a lot of incentive to blow all of your crystals and rush the story. There are some extra places to get these story tickets. You will get some of them, you know, as story rewards. You will get some of them from doing your mission quests. You will get some of them from, you know, your kind of beginner quest missions, which is your mage's path as well. So you will get extras of these as you're playing along. Now, in terms of, you know, story at the moment, there's 4 chapters. Okay, spoiler, sorry for those of you guys. There is 4 chapters. Each chapter has quite a lot of steps to it, and you know, each of these kind of episodes, you know, these will probably cost you multiple story tickets to get through as well. So it does definitely take a few days. You can come back and watch the story later if you want. It's all like a lot of animated cutscenes which you can skip through and come back and watch later if you're into that kind of thing. So it's your story. Like, yeah, it won't take you long to blow through it, and it's quite easy to progress through. But 4 stories, and each story chapter that you go through is going to unlock, you know, a different region with different, you know, sort of world quests and dungeons and things for you as well. So you're going to want to, again, push through the story just as quickly as you can. You will get stuck when you run out of story tickets. And that's when you're going to go ahead and you're going to spend your stamina. Now, stamina is quite plentiful in the game. You get quite a lot of these consumable boxes that give you stamina as well. And just through the story quests, you get a lot at the start too. You also get some as like an idle feature as well in your base, which I'll show you afterwards. So each chapter of the story you do is going to open up another overworld zone like this. In these zones, it's got different dungeons you can do. And each of these dungeons, you know, give you quite a lot of rewards as well. It's got the normal, you know, as you play through the story quests and you do these, you 3-star these dungeons and things, you know, you get progressively better rewards. The later difficulties are really quite difficult. So you're going to be coming back to them at the end game to clear them out. So yes, so each chapter is going to have these overworlds. When you're running around in the overworld, there are things to collect and explore as well. It is worth picking these up. They do, you know, you can get you know, rewards like crystals and stamina, all these kind of things. So it's definitely worth using, you know, picking them up. And you get a certain amount per day. You can look in the adventure journal. So for fishing, you get 6 slots per day. If you do your fishing while you're in the overworld map, on these, it's another place where you can get, you know, free stamina and materials. So These food materials here are going to be useful to you, particularly when you're farming the resource stages. So all these on the overworld here, these are all resource stages. So this one here, which I haven't done any of yet, these are bonds. These ones give you extra bond experience. So we'll talk about what bond experience does in a minute, but for each of these dungeons, including the experience dungeons, the bond dungeons, the gear dungeons, etc., they all have slots for food here as well. So cooking is a reasonably big part of this game, and it is worth going to the effort to craft some of this food. So you get this, you get the material for the food from clearing the stages. So different stages give different materials. But again, it is very useful, like particularly if you're coming back here to farm your bond experience and you're going to spend, you're going to do 50 runs of it. Getting a 10% food is going to, save you a lot of stamina in the long run. So it's definitely worth it. So yeah, so while you're progressing through your story, you're going to unlock these, dungeons and resource stages. You're going to clear them out, and you're going to get, all your rewards. So for example, these ones are quite important, and therefore unlocking skills, leveling them up. So all these purple ones here, or sorry, I should say red, they're skill up materials basically, and these are your basic crystals. So it's definitely worth going through and pushing them as far as you can. So what are you going to do when you're running out of stamina and you're running out of story stamina? You can come and have a look. You can come do some crafting and stuff in your home base. So this is where you have your idle feature. This is going to feed you more stamina as well. So you click in the bottom right hand corner and go to your hideout, and you have this little collect income button. So this is your your AFK generating feature. So once it fills up, you probably get about 300 or so stamina. So it's quite a lot. Lets you run a lot more stages. Your base is where you've got all of your crafting things as well. But so, essentially you're going to do the story. You're going to unlock as well, probably around, I think chapter 3 is when you unlock guilds. Or they're called squads in this game. So I definitely would suggest joining a squad as soon as you can, and making sure you come and do your daily donations, because it's going to give you guild medals which you can use in the shop. And the shop does sell quite important materials, such as, again, the skill up materials. Alright, so let's take a look at the characters then. I've had a little talk about story mode, and we had a little quick look at the resource stages. We'll go through the menus as well and just kind of show you where everything is in a moment as well. We'll have a look at characters next and how you're going to progress your characters. This is all quite important to your general gameplay as well. So starting from the top, so all characters obviously have skills that are upgradable. Primarily, these upgrade materials are coming from your quest chains. They're coming from, you can get some of them from dungeons. You get quite a lot from the beginner story mission, and a lot from the guild shop as well. The other place that you get them from is the region shop as well. Region shop is quite important, and I'll show you after. But like in most games, they start off quite cheap, and progressively they require harder and harder materials to get to. So I would definitely spend wisely when you're doing these, because it's very difficult to get more of them. In addition to the skills, you also get a skill page. So the skill page is an equipable. It's kind of like an artifact or something if you played Epic 7, or they have these similarly in a lot of games. It's another equipable piece of gear that has either passive boosts, or there are unit specific ones, and the unit specific ones I can show you also boost the skills. So this is the unit specific one for the blue Yami, and it upgrades his skill 2 and gives additional traits to it. It also gives a passive. The passives you can use on anyone. So, if you had the blue Yami skill page, but you didn't have blue Yami, you could still put it on any other warrior, right? Or any other striker. So they still get use of the passive skill, but obviously not the skill upgrade. So skills. They also, each unit gets 2 passives. So The first passive unlocks when your unit gets to the LR rank. LR rank is the highest rank. And the second one unlocks when you get them to enhancement level 2. Enhancement level 2 is, well, the enhancement levels are basically the dupe system in this game. So there are universal dupes you can get, and you get some of these through just doing your mission quests. Not many, but you get a few. And there's the dupe ones. So you can see what each dupe level is going to give you, and unfortunately you don't actually get the next passive until you get dupe level 2. So again, this is another resource that's very, you know, you want to use it sparingly. You want to be really sure it's a unit that you want to upgrade, unless you're totally wailing out before you upgrade with these. Because just getting to level 1 is a waste of time, really. So that's the skill pages. In terms of other ways you're going to upgrade your characters and level them. So I just showed you the Bond dungeon. Bond is quite important in this game. It's what's going to let you break through your ranking level, essentially. So when you want to rank up, firstly there's this rank up system. It looks like a little 4-leaf clover. So you're going to need to use these resource, which is called a shared mage piece. You're going to need to fill out this little 4-leaf clover before it's going to allow you to ascend to next rank. Now there is other requirements besides using these resources and filling it in. So let me go back to my Yami and show you. That's not going to let me do it on that one, actually. Let me show you. Yeah, okay, I can show you Uno because he's at the right level. So if I wanted to rank up my Uno, I'll fill these in quickly, and it will unlock the prerequisite. Okay. Right, so once I've got those all filled in, it's going to go to the promote window. So it tells you essentially you need to have a certain bond level in order to upgrade to the next level. You need to hit the level cap, you need to have the bond level requirement, and you need to have this little 4-leaf clover thing all filled in before it's going to let you upgrade. Okay? So everyone's going to start off at bond level 1, and you get bond level just from, you know, using the unit in battle. You also get it from farming the bond stage at a higher rate. So yes, you start at bond level 1. Bond level 6 you unlock UR rank, and bond level 10 you unlock LR rank. So this is your basic, you know, kind of rank up ascension system in the game, and a lot of it's tied to bond, which, I mean, I guess it's not too bad, but you know, these other resources that you're using to upgrade them, the mage pieces, can be very difficult to get. They don't come from a lot of places. Like everything else, you can click on the source button and it'll show you where to get them. They are in the cash shop, they're in the memory hall, which I'll show you later. You do get one of these SSR mage pieces when you level up the bonds. It's one of the rewards, and you can get through limited challenges, but they are a somewhat scarce resource to acquire. Now, talents. Okay, we're gonna get talents on UR. Talents is a whole another kettle of fish. So there is a separate resource dungeon just for this. This allows you to kind of customize your units a little more as you like. So they're basically passives, and you can choose to have 6 of them at a time. You farm a dungeon for the currency to unlock these, which is like this. You can also, if you don't want to farm the dungeon, you can just use the crystals, but again, it costs a lot of crystals. It's not worth it. Just farm the dungeon, honestly. But you unlock them, and once you've unlocked them, you can kind of pick it and choose it which one you want to use, right? So you can just switch these around. And there is an unlockable piece once you unlock all of them, where you can put in carved stone, which drops from another dungeon, which gives you a stat boost, which I don't actually have any of at the moment. So it's another way to customize your team and just play them the way that you like. But again, I mean, these resources to unlock these, it takes quite a lot of fun with the dungeon to get them, so don't use them willy-nilly like I was just clicking around to show you guys. But yeah, so let you rotate it so you can kind of pick and choose how you want your character built. Bond, I think we looked at Bond already. There is gifts that you can use as well. They're exceedingly difficult to get, so I wouldn't expect too many. You get some of them as quest rewards, but the primary way to get Bond level is just to use the units and use them while you're playing the game and run them in the Bond level. For example, the Bond level will give you about 400 Bond points per level, and just a normal stage if you're farming something else will give you about 100 per level. So it does take quite a lot to get through these high levels, especially. Level 10 is like, probably like level 9 and level 10 is where you'll start to feel that you actually have to grind and burn stamina on it in order to get through. There is costumes in the game as well. The game gives you quite a few of them for free. Some of them probably look okay. I mean, I kind of like the original aesthetic of some of these units. But you know, everyone's gonna like what they like, I suppose. But yes, there is costumes as well. So I think that's everything to do with the characters. Oh, I didn't mention gear actually. I apologize. So the gear system in this game is an interesting one. It's probably, in my opinion, the weakest part of the game, but we will touch on it quickly. So as in other games, there's obviously gear sets, different gear sets which give different bonuses if you complete the whole set. They're arranged in this kind of grid shape, so you can see this character. I've unlocked all of the grid, and you get those grid spaces when you upgrade the little 4-leaf clover thing. So just to show you what it looks like when it's not been touched. Starts off missing a lot of slots. So into those empty slots you're going to put your gear, and it's a bit like Tetris, making it fit in there. They all use different. This is 6, 6, 4. They're all different shapes, and you have to kind of mash them in there. Most of the items can have like attack main % on them, or magic attack. So really, like for your offensive units, you want to smash as much attack on here as you can. Most of the units get a decent amount of base HP. The part that I really the part that I don't like is to do with the enhancement. Now, some people might like this. It is somewhat deterministic in upgrading your items, which is a good thing. But so it follows the basic, with most of these games, you require +4 or +8 to unlock the next 2 kind of randomized stats. So it'll show you what the base one is, and then you upgrade it, and it's going to unlock some random ones. So you've got to drop the piece of gear that you want with the right implicit stat, and then you have to roll the right substats. After you've rolled the right substats, there is an enchanting system. This is another resource that you farm from in a dungeon, and it just allows you to upgrade these damage stats. So if I put it on here, so the lowest level one will raise this HP from between 1 and 84. 84 is the maximum amount. So once you enchant it and you raise it, it's going to want you to do it again. And at least one of the good things is that number can't go down. So that's always going to be 1 to 84. Now I rolled a 76, it's going to be 76 to 84. And you can keep rolling it until you get to the top amount. But that lowest level enchantment is always going to cap out at 84. Similarly, the next one up is going to cap out around 150, and the next one even further. So if you're unlucky, it's going to take you a lot of rolls to actually max out the stat, and you're going to have to do that for every stat on these pieces of equipment. Like, it's a lot. So I'll show you with the attack here. We can roll it. Didn't get an upgrade. Didn't get an upgrade. These things take quite a while to farm as well. So it's going to be extremely hard. Now, if I do the further level up one, this goes all the way up to 62. Didn't get an upgrade. Yeah, okay, I got one. But this maximum value is never going to get any higher. It's just depending on the rarity of the equipment that you're using. So that's an example of how the enchantment system works. So there's quite a few layers to kind of getting the gear as you want it. And then the next The next part, which is which is the worst part, I think, is the accessories. So you also get accessories in this game. You have to craft them. When you craft them, they roll randomized. So I've crafted one so far because they use a lot of resources. And I got a healer ring with a crit damage percent main, which obviously is not a really usable stat for a healer. And the way that you craft these, I will show you. It requires a lot of gear. So essentially all of the gear that you pull that is, you know, not something that you want to use, I guess, quote unquote, your trash gear, is what you're going to be feeding into the crafting system to make this. So you come to this NPC and this is the crafting interface for accessories. So essentially you come in here and you have to fill it up with gear of at least SSR rank and fill the little bar up, and then it's going to craft for you. And I'm just gonna roll one and show you guys. But it's completely random. There's a bunch of different, like you can roll from every different class. Okay, so for your healers, defenders, attackers, you can roll for each different class, and then it rolls a bunch of different implicits on it as well. So obviously I got crit damage on my mage piece, and then it rolls random substats as well. So there's a lot of layers of RNG in all of the gear crafting. So it's gonna be really hard to get the gear that you want, so spend sparingly. So that's the characters and the gear. There's also arena system in this game, as is in most. The first few ranks you go through is mostly bots. So when you're going through bronze and most of silver, it was bots. The meta at the moment is basically blue units. On the defense is a strong thing because a lot of the strong attacking units at the moment are fire. So the blue units on defense are pretty much carving it up at the moment. But it's your same normal basic, you know, it's not RTA, it's just bot arena like against the AI of the other teams. The arena shop does have some quite good free gear, well, potentially good anyway, depending on how it rolls, but it's got some UR gear in there. And a frame, and these egg-looking materials, they're just the materials used to upgrade your gear. So the rewards are okay in here, they're not too bad. Could be worse. They have seasons as well, and each week, you know, you get your weekly rewards, which is normal. So that's the arena. Now, in terms of challenge, there is limited challenges here as well. So the limited challenges are like daily, you know, your typical daily dungeons that open. There's different ones for upgrade materials, gear. This is an event one that's on at the moment. This special episode 1, and this Hall of Illusions. This is your typical, you know, like Abyssal Tower or Endless Tower sort of thing with lots and lots and lots of floors on it. That gets progressively harder. There's a normal mode and a hard mode. It's going to take quite a while to go through. So it has all the normal daily dungeons, you know, Endless Tower, story, limited dungeons, all this sort of typical stuff. Your cooking and stuff again is done in your base here as well. It doesn't take too much materials to craft this. I mean, you can see I've got enough to craft like a lot of stuff just through playing the game. In terms of getting extra materials, you can get them from the regional shops. So when I said earlier that you go through the overworld, you unlock, you know, as you unlock the chapters, it unlocks the different stages of these overworlds. And so as you clear those dungeons out, as you run, so you're going to come in here and farm your resource dungeons, whatever. Let's say you're doing the bond stages in here. You're going to get these regional currencies as well for running these dungeons. And each of the 4 chapters has their own regional shop. So getting currency for this regional shop is really important. It's going to give you access to skill up material. This is the most important thing. So skill up material, and it's where you're going to go to buy your food as well. So you get each week you can buy, each week you can buy a certain amount of food material from here as well. So beef, carrot, whatever. So all the stuff to craft your food you can buy from each regional shop, as well as, again, the most important thing is going to be these skill up materials. So it's quite important to make sure you come in here and you're buying out these materials as you can. There are some gear summoning boxes, but they're kind of bait. I really wouldn't recommend, to be honest with you. The game runs quite a lot of events, especially on the server opening. So make sure you're coming through here and doing all of your events. At the moment, there's a dice event on, which lets you run around the little board and collect free resources. There is, when you start the game, there's a 7-day mission quest one as well, which gives out a lot of good rewards. I've already cleared it, so it's now gone from my list here, unfortunately. There's some first time purchase bonuses, which are, yeah, they're okay, I suppose. There's mileage like in most of your games. Now, in terms of summoning, let's take a look at the summoning. So one important thing, these pities do not carry over. Okay. At the end of this raid up, this pity is gonna go poof. It changes into a different resource which you use at the shop. I'll show you that one, and it's really, honestly, it turns into these bonus coins. And this is like a 1-to-1 with pulls. So each 10 pulls that you did is gonna turn into like 1 pull worth if you leave it to roll over. And the other things in here is like, probably the best thing is the gift boxes, I guess. I don't know, they're all pretty bad. It's definitely like better to use a pity if you need to. I wouldn't waste them. You get friendship summons, obviously, like many other games. You send your gifts to your friend each day, and you get, you know, free summons on these. It doesn't really drop anything good. It's got extremely low chance to get the SSR skill pages. But it does count towards your weekly quests for summoning, so it's good to just hold on to it and then pop it for the weekly if you're not going to be pulling on the banners. Rates, I suppose we should look at the rates. They're quite decent. SSR rate is, I believe, 2.5%. So, you know, pretty decent rates, really. We do have these triple banners, though, which makes it quite hard to actually get the unit that you want. So you might be going to pity to pull the one that you want. But yeah, at least 2.5%, you should get a decent amount of SSRs just from, you know, running through. So for clarity, we're playing in Canada server, so the Play Store is disabled for me, so completely free to play. So far, I've done 140 pulls on the banner, and I've got 100 pulls left on me right now, and I've finished the story mode. So that's about 250 pulls you can get in the first week, which is quite a reasonable amount, I think. Now, in terms of good units to start the game with, so one of the scripted pulls that you get in the game is Rosalie, this one here, Charlotte Rosalie, and she's actually a really good debuffer. I would suggest that she's probably going to be one of the units that you're going to use to play all the way through story mode with, and use to some extent afterwards. Her skills are really nice. So basic skill is a basic, it's not very exciting. Her skill 2 inflicts defense down on all units and puts mark. Mark makes it so that if you kill a unit with mark on it, you get an additional turn. So this is really good when combined with a strong single target unit. And some of the strongest units at the beginning of the game are single target. So this allows you to debuff, you know, a wave of enemies with defense down and with mark, and then let your single target burst them down and keep taking turns and taking turns and taking turns. So really strong free unit that's going to come with the game without you having to go and farm with it. The skill 3 gives you good mitigation with the defense attack down on the unit. Also puts a bleed effect, and bleed is scaling on max HP. The chance is kind of low, but you know it's still nice. You know, getting the mitigation in there is nice. So she's got a lot of really nice buffs and debuffs. In terms of which other units you want to be using at the start of the game, my strong suggestion and what I'll be doing on the global launch is I'll be going for an all blue team. The reason for an all blue team is the fire, the gear dungeon that's that has you against fighting fire units has the strongest gear in the start of the game. So if we have a look at the gear dungeon here, this one here, the Dungeon of Power, this dungeon drops the strongest gear sets, basically, at the start of the game. So it drops your standard, it's a flat 15% increased damage dealt as well as attack bonus. It drops this. It drops the best speed set in the game. So there's not a lot of ways to modify speed in the game currently. This is one of the ways. So it drops the best speed set in the game. And it drops one of the best tanking sets in the game as well. So it's if you want to cruise through and be able to farm the high levels of the gear dungeon, focusing on a blue team early is good. And you know, that being said, the blue units are really, really strong as well. It's going to have you set up really well for PvP as well, because a lot of people are going to be using the free fire units like Rosalie. A lot of people are going to be pulling on the Season 1, the limited banner for the fire or the red Asta, which I will say she's an extremely strong DPS unit. She can help you get through story mode really well. She's good in PvP as well, but up against the blue units, she does falter. So in terms of the blue units that you want, there's two units that basically you would want to reroll for at the start of the game. That's going to be Lotus, and it's going to be William. So William is a super strong supportive buffer. His basic attack has like a hex kind of thing, so it turns them into a tree. It basically makes them completely hard locked, hard CC'd. So super strong on a basic. The skill 2 is Giga Chad buffs for your DPS. 2 turns of level 4 attack up, level 4 speed up. Okay, and this is a priority push when their priority is like lower than 50. So it pushes them up on the movement bar. Her skill 3 gives huge mitigation. Level 3 fortify, she's just fight reduced damage taken, and gives counter attack to your highest attack unit. Her combo attack as well, which will work, you'll put her with your DPS, gives them penetration as well. So she's a super strong supportive buffer. And that's number 1. The second unit is Lotus. Lotus is another really, really strong unit and pairs really well with William. So Lotus is a debuffer. So she's got, you know, turn manipulation on her basic, on his basic, I should say. On his skill 1, he's got debuff extension. So this is going to work really well with some of the other units you're going to bring in with her that put defense down, etc., etc. And reduced damage resistance level 3. This is like another damage multiplier, essentially. So this is a damage multiplier here. And the level 3, the skill 3, sorry, the special skill ultimate, puts incapacitate on all enemies, which is a massive damage multiplier, strips buffs and slows them. So a lot of turn manipulation, a lot of damage multiplying and buff stripping, as well as debuff extension, makes it extremely strong. So at the start of the game, you get a reroll where you can roll your 10 pull 20 times. So you're essentially going to be pretty well guaranteed to pick up one of these 2 units for free from there. So my suggestion would be picking up one of these 2 units for there, and then when you get your 30 or so pre-registration pulls, rolling for the other one. So ideally you want to start with these 2 units. And from the Season 1 banner, your pick is going to be Blue Yami. Blue Yami is another really strong attacking striker. Purely offensively, Red Asta is stronger, but Blue Yami is really good. Buffs attack up on himself, has heal block on the enemy, helps to recharge his own ultimate quicker, buff strips. On his skill 3, he's going to strip the enemy's ultimate gauge and silence. He's really strong. So, you know, essentially you want to have Blue Yami, you want to have Lotus, you want to have William. These 3 units are going to be your core. The next unit that's going to pair up really well with them is going to be Rosalie. You're going to be putting all those debuffs and then using your Lotus to extend the debuffs. She's free as well, so she's guaranteed for you. When you're going into the fire dungeon, you need 1 more blue unit. Your SSR Defender Soul, really easy to pull. She's going to be fantastic for it. So I think having those 3 core blue units, Lotus, Blue Yami, and William is going to be a super strong start to your account, guys. So hopefully you guys have watched this before you've spent all your summons and rolled. That's going to be a really strong start to the game for you. That would be what I recommend for sure. Now, if you're playing and you run out of, story tokens and you're not quite sure what to do, there is always the Mage's Path. This is your quintessential beginner quest that give you a lot of resources as well. So if you ever get stuck, you're not sure what to do, this is your first place to turn. You come in here and you start plowing through this. This is going to put you on the right track and give you a lot of resources to help upgrade your character and get you going. Okay, so whenever you're not sure what to do, you go to Mage's Path. One other really important thing I should have said as well. You see this button here, Gateway of Reunion. So this came with Season 1. This is essentially going to give you one of those 3 Season 1 units for free. So you get to pick one of these 3, you follow a little quest storyline, and you get the unit for free, essentially. So this is going to be your way to get your blue Yami super easily. So your re-rolling really is going to be minimal. You're going to get a blue Yami for free through the reunion, which I just showed you. You're going to get either William or Lotus from your free rerolls at the start, your selective summon reroll, which you get to do 20 times. You're going to get your Charlotte for free. She's a scripted summon. And you only have to roll for 1 unit. So you only have to pull either a William or a Lotus to complete out your early game kit. So it's a super strong, super easy way to start. It's going to get you farming the best gear dungeons. It's going to get you owning in PvP. Definitely the way to go. In hindsight, after playing on the Canadian server here for a while, I would have absolutely done this if I had known. There's a Battle Pass. Battle Pass has pretty good rewards. If you're pushing through the story early on, you're trying to rush through, it does give you story tickets as well. So it is decent enough if you want to spend the money on it. Just keep in note these it is reasonably expensive, so at your own peril, I suppose. And I think that's pretty well gonna wrap it up for the beginner guide, guys. So try and pull for that blue team, work your way through story, hit up the Mage's Path if you're not quite sure what to do. Upgrade your characters. There's a lot of ways to do it, like I showed you. You need to farm the bond stages to upgrade your units to LR, which is the last stage. You gotta go farm gear. There's skill ups to get. You need to farm all the resources to do all the enchanting on these gears. You got a lot of stuff to do. They are bringing out soon. There's a raid feature at the moment in the squads, in the guild, quote unquote guild thing. They don't have it unlocked yet, but it should be coming next week for us here on the Canada server. This is the boss battles. So, hopefully there should be some more interesting content coming up there soon. At the moment, you get through the story, there's PvP and there's farming for your characters, and that's about it. So, looking forward to some new content to come. Yeah, if you found this helpful, guys, drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop a comment down below, come and join us on our Discord, and follow us for some more Black Clover mobile content. I'll see you in the next one.